Nicole here. Now on to the Virgo archetype. So I found this poem, which I think is the perfect descriptor for Virgo. Virgo, I feel like, is one of the most misunderstood of all of the zodiac signs. But this poem says, modest Virgo's rays give polished parts and fill men's breasts with honesty and arts. No tricks for gain nor love of wealth dispense, but piercing thoughts and winning eloquence. Love this. So Virgo is an earth sign. Virgo is ruled by Mercury, which is the quick little planet that spins around the sun that in astrology we associate with the mental faculties. And Virgo is also a mutable sign. So Virgo people tend to be very real. They value and they appreciate other people who are genuine and authentic, who, again, they're not vain. They are more apt to be modest in their self-expression. They're more apt to be people who hang back and observe and perhaps are a little bit shy or introverted and introspective. But their minds they have the capability to be quite analytical. Virgo, the pure Virgo archetype, remember this does not mean that every Virgo sun you meet is going to fit all of these characteristics because there's so many other things to your birth chart. But just looking at Virgo, these are people who are discerning. They have the ability to, as I said, be analytical, to break down a problem, to be critical, to see how the different pieces and parts are fitting together. They're able to categorize things, whether these are thoughts or even in the real world, actually just being organized and organizing things and creating systems for other people to use to make them more efficient. These are all sort of Virgo traits and tendencies. This sign is, I've mentioned before, I love Sundance. It's one of my favorite places. I actually have a Mercury, which is my mind, and Venus, my love nature, are both in Virgo. So I very much value and appreciate authenticity when people are honest, they're true, they're not, I mean, a little bit of vanity is okay, at least I think so, I'm Leo rising, but, but Virgo says that just give me the real deal. Show me what you're really all about, and then I'll trust you, and then we'll go from there. Because they have this ability to be so discerning, they can see and appreciate when somebody is selling them a false bill of goods. So you might as well just drop the crap and just be real with a Virgo, because they're going to see right through any sort of falsity that you have going on. Now, with a Virgo, let's also talk about their emotional nature. Virgo is a nervous sign, okay? Because anybody who's got a lot of Mercury in their chart, or whether it is because they're a Virgo sun, moon, or rising, or Virgo conjunct the ascendant, or, Virgo on the ascendant, or Mercury conjunct the ascendant, or Mercury conjunct the sun, anything like this, to me, when I hear the word Virgo, the words Virgo, Mercury, and, Virgo, Mercury, and the sixth house, these are all the same word to me. They mean the same thing, right? So when we see a lot of busyness with Mercury, we have people who tend to they run a little bit more anxious, a little more neurotic, and it's because their minds, they have this thing in their minds where they're quick thinking and always thinking about things and kind of always analyzing things, and they can be at times a little bit pessimistic, okay? Especially maybe perhaps a Virgo moon, because that's your emotional nature, and I've read from many people who, it's so fascinating, people who have strong Virgo characteristics in their chart that are female in particular, there's this kind of like Debbie Downer thing can happen a little bit, because you've got also Virgos opposite Pisces, and this is sort of the service axis. I also see this as kind of the axis of the martyr. So you can have sometimes, because Virgos and Piscean type people are so good at self-sacrificing for other people, they expect the same in return many times, when that hasn't even been promised or communicated that that's going to be happening. And so anyway, they can be a little bit, they can martyr themselves sometimes or feel like, oh, woe is me, okay? That's shadow side material for Virgos. On the high side, Virgos are devoted. They are, when they tell you they're going to do something, they'll do it. Or at least they'll do their best, God willing, the creek don't rise, they're going to get it done, with the people that they care about, the way that they're going to show that they love you and the way that they would like to receive it in return is through actions, not just words. Do what you say you're going to do for a Virgo, and they're happy. That if they feel like they can trust you and that you are who you say you are, then you're good as gold. Virgos know this because it's an earth sign. This is somebody who is here in the practical world. They like practical solutions to problems, okay? Not fluff. Tell me what I need to do. What is my job? What is my role in this crisis. What is my role in this relationship? Where, define things for me, please. Thank you. Excellent. Now we're good. And once they have things defined, they're good. They're typically with a Virgo, a healthy Virgo, once they know where they stand, they're fine. They will play their role and in a very self-sacrificing way, as a matter of fact. Now, Virgo also rules, the sixth house is the house of Virgo, and this has to do with our daily habits, our duties, even things like our hygiene and our exercise and our health. All right, so our job as when we are employees working for somebody else. This is that sixth house because this is that house of service. It's when you're in service of whether it's your life through the mundane details of life, we're kind of slaves to the day-to-day grind, whether it's you working as an employee for somebody and you're under their authority, right? So Virgos do have a natural ability to be a little bit more modest. They're okay with being in that role of the assistant. You see, for example, the secretary, that would be kind of a perfect example of a Virgo type archetype, or even like the librarian, somebody who's an aid to other people, but perhaps from a place where they're able to be sort of introverted and quiet, okay? Now, let's say you're a Virgo, and you're a Virgo, but you have a bunch of Leo in your chart and a bunch of fire in your chart, right? You're not going to be a wallflower necessarily. You may be somebody who has a really quick mind. You may be somebody who is very analytical and able to quickly summarize situations or read people or read situations, this kind of thing. But you might also be very bold and outgoing, and that's because of the other influences in your chart. So the one thing I'm really trying to teach people with astrology is your zodiac sign, your sun sign. Remember, that's the whole month you were born. There's like a 30-day window, and everybody else on the planet that was born at that same time was born during the same season. It's like a season, right? Your actual birth chart is much more specific and nuanced. This is that very minute you were born, where everything was in the sky, and not only that, but the rotation of the earth. This takes into account the horizon. So this is your rising sign. So at any rate, very important that you have your birth time, and we're thinking of this in the context of the entire birth chart. But the archetype of Virgo in general, it's going to be a softening energy. It's a mutable sign. These people are flexible. They are an earth sign, but they're the most flexible of all the earth signs. They're the most willing to, they're adaptable. They're accommodating. They will move in the direction that their partner needs them to move in, because they are more of a self-sacrificing type of an energy, okay? So if you've got a Virgo, you are a lucky person. I know I said about all the signs, and it's true, but Virgos are great. You just have to be sure that you keep your word with a Virgo, that you do what you say you're going to do, that you're loyal, that you're devoted, and that you thank them for the sweet things that they do, because that's how Virgos operate. They really are a very simple sign to understand. Like I said earlier, I was thinking of Sundance, the beauty of Sundance. It's this natural, authentic, kind of genuine, the way that they branded Sundance is very authentic, this feel. What you see is what you get. But behind that is also this extraordinary attention to detail, right? Everything at Sundance is done a certain way, at least, their branding says it should be done this way, right? So this is very much like a Virgo, and Robert Redford has a Virgo moon, so I think considering he lives at Sundance, it's his home, it's his moon, it makes sense that it would reflect how he himself sees himself. So if you're wondering what a Virgo is like or what would appeal to a Virgo, go up to Sundance. They like authenticity, get rid of the vanity, be real, be true, be devoted, and self-express, good conversation, etc. That's Virgo. All right. Questions, comments below, and we'll chat later about Virgos. Bye.